Employees at car dealerships are quitting left and right, from the sales staff to the mechanics to the service advisors. Everybody, they're struggling to make enough money and they're quitting. And especially the sales staff. They just had the easiest few years of their lives. Everybody coming in, shortage of inventory, charging market adjustments, and all these greedy tactics. Sales associates and sales managers were able to make the most money that they've ever made, most likely selling the least amount of vehicles because they made so much per vehicle. And the times have changed. Now market adjustments are gone overall, even though some dealerships still try to do it, but overall that stuff's over. And the greedy dealerships are probably always going to be greedy, so they're still trying to do nitrogen filled tires and all this stuff, so it's just going to run away more customers. And the sales staff can't hit their quota or their numbers that they need to for the month, and they're quitting left and right. Full commission, they're not making enough money. But unfortunately, the general public really doesn't feel sorry, because this is what happens. Whenever you screw over people, this is what happens. And it's nothing new. Car dealerships have always ran through sales staff. The average tenure at a car dealership for their sales staff is less than 3 months. Now it's closer to 2 months. So think about that. The average sales staff at dealerships, 2 to 3 months, that's it. And even the mechanics in the back are quitting because they're on flat rate. They can barely make it by most of the time. Some mechanics can make it, but a lot of them don't have the skill to beat the clock. And it's always about rushing to get the job done, not taking your time and getting it done correctly. But when you rush, it can take you more time. So these mechanics are getting stuck not making anything because they're on a set clock. Flat rate is basically like commission. Whatever the job pays is what they're getting, even if it takes longer. And it's sad because who should be the highest paid person at the dealership? Probably the mechanics. They're working the hardest in the heat and all that kind of stuff. And honestly, they have a real skill. But who's getting paid more than the mechanics? Most likely all the service advisors, even most of the salespeople and the sales managers. They're all staying inside in the AC, and you got mechanics with the real skill making less money. So the whole operation makes no sense because sales is not even a skill anymore. People would rather deal with the tablet than a real person. They are so tired of dealing with salespeople when they go to a car lot, and they're so annoying. They want you to come inside, do a needs analysis, which is where they can get all this information, your phone number, your email, what car you're looking at, all this stuff that they don't even need to know because they're not going to be much help. Because car dealerships don't prioritize actual car knowledge training. They prioritize sales training. That's what's important to car dealerships. So it's all about negotiating tactics and stuff like that, and it's so annoying as a consumer to even buy a car from a dealership. And so customers are smarter than ever. They're negotiating more. They're getting smarter about dealerships and all these fees and stuff, which is coming right out of the salespeople's pocket. They're not able to get these huge gross paychecks because customers aren't letting them. You have to negotiate and don't let the dealership take advantage of you. And so many salespeople got into car sales over 2020, 21, 22, and that's when it was so easy. And now it's actually harder because inventory's back up and people are not buying as much as they used to. I mean, the United States sold more cars in 1986 than they did last year, so they're not necessarily breaking records every year. And for dealerships, their gross profit per vehicle is going down, especially over the last few years. They were making all this money per vehicle, and those times are over. You have to go to a volume approach. It's about selling the most vehicles as possible, not about selling the least amount and making the most. So it makes sense why car dealerships are running through employees left and right. The whole system's messed up. It's a terrible place to work at most of the time. Saturdays are going to be bell to bell, which is half day, 12-hour shifts. And they're just not able to sell enough cars right now, and they're just wondering, what do I even do? They're just standing around doing nothing. And so many dealerships ran through their loyal customers, so because they did market adjustments and all those stupid fees and stuff, they made a lot of their loyal customers mad, and they're never going to go back to that dealership, so they're done with it. So it all makes sense. Because of how overpriced new vehicles are, and even used, these salespeople can't hit their numbers, and people are keeping their vehicles for longer. So they're just going to get their current vehicle repaired rather than buying a new one, and they're not going to go to the dealership to get it repaired because you probably already screwed them over multiple times. From the service to the sales to the finance, it's all a bad situation. All commission, all designed to make as much profit for the dealer. And so with all the salespeople quitting in droves, and even the mechanics not being able to beat the flat rate clock and not having enough work to stay busy because the hourly rates at these shops at the dealerships are so high, it's doing nothing but helping other shops get more work because people are going over there because nowhere's more expensive than your local dealership, either to buy a new car or to actually get your car worked on. And so they ran away so many loyal customers, and they can't keep sales staff or mechanics for nothing. But it all makes sense. Imagine if you had to sell $600 or $1,000 nitrogen filled tires. I mean, just imagine. And the only person in the dealership with an actual tangible skill, like a mechanic, is just getting put in the dust, and they're going to go work for private shops left and right now. But let me know what you guys think about this. Would you ever work at a dealership? And let me know if you're quitting, because they're happening all over the place. Let me know. Have a great day and stay blessed.